Recently, Rupert Grint gave an interview saying that he'd be open to return to the Harry Potter world in another capacity. We've also recently seen Tom Felton stepping back into his role as Draco on Broadway, and these moments raise a really fun question. What if the original Harry Potter cast returned to the Wizarding World, but in completely different roles? The new show already has most of its core cast, but there is still quite a wide range of adult roles that still need to be introduced throughout the 7 seasons. So today I want to go through some of the roles that I genuinely think suit some of the original actors best. And also I want to avoid the kind of more fan service casting. This is more along the lines of things that I actually think could happen and the actors that are most suited to the tone, the age range, and the direction that the show seems to be taking. So let's jump into it. Rupert Grint. Out of the original trio, Rupert is really the only one who seems like he could make a return to the series. He's talked about the role with warmth and genuinely seems open to it. And he's got a perfect sense of humour about the whole thing. But who should he play? Because I don't think he should be Arthur Weasley, even though this is the obvious pick. Honestly, I just think that it's too large of a role, and him being in these scenes would kind of distract a little bit from everything else, seeing Rupert playing Ron's dad. I would actually prefer something much smaller, but also human and grounded. And for me, Amos Digory is perfect. Amos is a deeply emotional character. He's emotional, proud, and utterly devastated by the end of Goblet of Fire, and it's the kind of character Rupert could destroy in the best possible way. And HBO will almost certainly expand upon the Digory family dynamic, as it is such a key part of Season 4 and a major emotional turning point for Harry. So Rupert could still appear in a handful of episodes, but also make a huge impact. It would be meaningful, but not too distracting, and that balance is really important. Before we jump into the next casting ideas, please remember to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, like the video, and hit the notification bell. I've got tons more news, theories, and discussions about HBO's Harry Potter, as well as the audiobooks and any other projects coming very soon. Next up is Evanna Lynch. Now, as everybody knows, she is an absolute die-hard Harry Potter fan after writing to J.K. Rowling herself and almost securing the role through that pure persistence, so I don't think that it's too much of a stretch to suggest that she might return to the HBO series. And this one sounds strange until you really picture it, in my opinion. Evanna already has that soft-spoken and floaty quality, but she can do it without sliding into almost a parody, and that actually makes her a perfect fit for a slightly more grounded and human version of Professor Trelawney. And hopefully the HBO show isn't going to copy the crystal ball caricature from the films. Of course there will still be those moments, but I really want the show to also lean into the more tragic side of Trelawney, with the pressure of the prophecy, her insecurities, and quiet fear of being discovered a fraud. Evanna could absolutely carry that tone, and honestly, this is weirdly one of the most natural recastings in this entire list. Matthew Lewis. Matthew Lewis is such a calm and steady presence now that he honestly fits one character perfectly, and that is Lupin. And as I've mentioned in the My Vision series, I really want HBO to expand upon Lupin's backstory, his early years, his relationship with the Marauders, and his internal conflict. Matthew could really bring out that quiet sadness, the warmth, and the moral weight that defines Remus. The age range works as well, as Lupin is only meant to be in his early 30s, and that's exactly where Matthew is now. However, it probably would be one of the more unlikely castings in this video. However, if it does happen, I do think that it could be the most emotionally satisfying one. Tom Felton. As I mentioned before, Tom Felton has recently reprised his role as Draco Malfoy in The Cursed Child on Broadway, and in it he looked very similar to Lucius Malfoy. However, Lucius Malfoy has already been cast, so we can't put him there. But honestly, I think Barty Crouch Jr. could be perfect for him. Tom has the sharp intensity, the ability to play twitchy and unstable characters, and also physically he fits the role as well. And in my opinion, HBO is almost guaranteed to expand upon the Crouch family backstory with the trial flashback, the escape from Azkaban, and the psychological unraveling. There's a tragic undercurrent to Barty Crouch Jr. that the film never explored, and I honestly think that Tom could bring it out. Bonnie Wright. Now, my first thought was Lily Potter, but that actually felt a bit too on the nose. So I had a think, and I came up with Madame Rosmerta, and I honestly think that it makes a lot of sense. Even though Bonnie is slightly younger than the traditional Rosmerta age, HBO can easily tweak that. What matters is the energy, as Rosmerta is kind, warm, and funny, but also with a layer of seriousness below it all. And when you look at Bonnie's performance as Ginny, that kind of fits perfectly. She also appears throughout the seasons with major roles in Prisoner of Azkaban and Half-Blood Prince, but also pops up here and there throughout multiple seasons. It would give Bonnie Wright a recurring role without it feeling too meta. So that was a handful of actors who played children in the original Harry Potter series, as I don't think there'll be too many adult actors from the original films returning to the series. But if we're going to talk about dream casting, there are a few that I would absolutely love to see, even if they're a bit unlikely. Firstly, Jason Isaacs. Jason has actually already said that he would love to return to the Harry Potter universe, and in another interview he did say that when he was first cast, he thought he was going to be playing a good guy. So why not kind of give that him here? I think a natural fit for him would be Rufus Scrimgeour. The energy of Rufus Scrimgeour in the books actually has some parallels to what Jason Isaacs gave us as Lucius Malfoy. He's authoritative, polished, intimidating, and deeply political. But the character is so different that it wouldn't blur the memory of what Isaacs gave us as Malfoy. And Scrimgeour's introduction in season 6 would hit so hard with Jason Isaacs behind it. Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman is on my Mount Rushmore of all-time actors, so it would be pretty hard to bring him back yet again to the Wizarding World, at this time in a different role, so this one is a bit far-fetched. Gary Oldman as Aberforth Dumbledore. Aberforth is almost the anti-Dumbledore. He's gruff, tired, unimpressed, and running a pub because he cannot be bothered with wizard politics. Gary Oldman would embody that to perfection. It's not a huge role, but it would be an unbelievably memorable moment. This would be the biggest oh my god cameo of the entire series, but as I said, let's be honest, it's not gonna happen. Finally, Ralph Fiennes. Like Jason Isaacs, Ralph has already said that he would love to return to the Harry Potter universe, and I honestly think this role would be so clever. Marvolo Gaunt. Marvolo Gaunt is not Voldemort, but he does possess a lot of traits that were passed down to Tom Riddle. He's cruel, violent, paranoid, and completely unhinged. Seeing Ralph play that older, twisted version of the Gaunt line, but without his Voldemort makeup and character, would honestly be so intriguing and also terrifying. And it really would be the kind of role that sticks with the audience long after the scene ends. The HBO show is in such a unique position. It doesn't need the original cast, as the new cast is already looking really strong. But the right returning actors in the right roles could add so much emotional history without distracting from the story. But I don't want stunt casting, I want performances that will truly elevate the characters that they are going to perform. And the actors that I've mentioned today could honestly do that in my opinion. Let me know in the comments what roles you'd like to see the original cast in, and also what roles you would absolutely not want to see. Once again, remember to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and hit the notification bell, as I'm releasing new content around Harry Potter every single week.